What's up, guys? Today I'll be talking about some ideas I have for an Apex Legends rework, where I can't speak. Oh my gosh. So I'll be discussing ideas I have to change the game in a way that I think would make it more fast-paced and action-packed. So the first idea I have is to remove all the gear, as in helmets, body shields, knockdown shields, and backpacks. Along with that, I think to compensate for all this being removed, the health of all players should be increased to 150. I also think that the inventory should be equivalent to the inventory space of a level 2/blue backpack. And I feel as though by making these changes, not only would the amount of looting be decreased, but because at max, players could technically have 225 health, as in their normal health bar and a red evil shield, by reducing the maximum possible health down to 150, it should make fights more tense and engaging. And again, due to the decrease of time spent looting because of the removal of gear, there would probably be more fights, and as a result, the gameplay would just be more fast paced because you'd be getting into more fights and you'd be taking more fights. So, yeah, it'd be pretty cool. So, the next idea I have is to remove all attachments and to keep all weapons at their default stats. So to continue on with these changes to weapons, I also think weapons should have a default scope. So I think that the gold weapons, as in not supply drop weapons, but gold versions of weapons like the gold prowler, for example, I think they shouldn't exist anymore. But as for the scopes for the weapons, they would be the following. So the P2020 would have a 1x HCOG, RE45 would also have a 1x, the Wingman would also have a 1x, the Mozambique would also have a 1x, the EVA 8 and Peacekeeper would also have 1x HCOGs. And also, if you're wondering, yes, the Peacekeeper would go back to being a common drop, with its stats reverted to its last point before being a prey weapon. And again, if you're wondering, the Mastiff would be a supply drop weapon again reverting to its former stats. The Alternator would also have a 1x HCOG, same with the Prowler Burst PDW, and the same goes for the R99. The L-Star EMG would have a 2x HCOG, the M600 Spitfire would also have a 2x, the Longbow DMR would have a 4 to 8x variable scope, the Sentinel would have a 4 to 8x, the Charge Rifle would have a 2 to 4x variable scope. The Triple Take would also have a 2 to 4x. And the G7 would also have a 2 to 4x. Also, the VK47 Flatline would have a 2x HCOG. The Hemlock Burst AR would also have a 2x. Same with the Havoc. And same goes for the R301. So my reasoning for the removal of all the attachments is to provide more time for fighting in a match, and also to take away from time from looting, as again, by doing this, more time will be put into actually fighting and finding teams to fight, and also it's just going to make the game a bit more fast paced, and hopefully I think it should decrease the amount of camping, because although there are legends that are built around camping like Watson and Caustic, they'd still be able to survive well with these changes, because they still have their abilities, of course. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about any changes that I'm going to make to abilities, because as for my reasoning behind the default scopes, the scopes are based off of what ranges those weapons are most often used at, and what ranges those weapons are effective at, and also what scopes are most preferred among the community. That's why all of the scopes are like HCOGs. And it's also why I avoided the 1 to 2x variable scope, because although I can aim with it, and I know a decent amount of people who I don't really know anyone who can aim with it per se, but there's some people who are presumed can. But yeah, although I know it's possible to aim with, I know it's something that lots of people don't like, and that's also why I avoided the 1x hollow, because many people, including myself, just don't like that scope at all. Can't aim with it well. But yeah. Anyway, along with that, you may have noticed that none of the weapons have a digital threat as their default scope, and that's because I think the digital threat scopes should only be saved for some of the supply drop weapons. So when it comes to hop-ups, just like all other attachments, I think they should be removed, but I think they could be built into weapons. For example, the Peacekeeper could have a precision choke by default. The P2020 and Mozambique, on the other hand, could get their hop-up changed a bit so that the default firing mode is the normal version of these weapons, but the secondary firing mode is like the hammer point rounds, but with the drawback of the slower firing speed. So it would kind of be like Anvil Receiver in a sense for those two weapons. So the Havoc select fire could simply just be added to the gun like it is, and with the Prowler. The double tap trigger can also be added to the G7, and the Ether 8 is how they are. That's how it is. The triple take can also get a built-in precision choke, just how it is. And as for the longbow, its headshot damage would just be increased to the damage its headshots do with skull piercer rifling. And as for the wingman, I'd say its headshot damage should just stay at its default. So when it gets skull piercer rifling, and then my reason for that is the wingman is like, it's already a pretty busted weapon. So just giving it skull piercer by default would just make it more busted. So yeah. As for the hop-ups I wouldn't add back, Anvil Receiver, Turbocharger, and Disruptor rounds. When it comes to ammo, well actually before I get to that, I think I might as well explain it because some people might be confused, especially with Turbocharger. With Anvil Receiver and Disruptor rounds, I think it's pretty clear, especially with Disruptor rounds, but I might as well explain. So with Anvil Receiver and Disruptor rounds, it's just because the Anvil Receiver, like the weapons it's used on, are good already. With the Disruptor rounds, the weapons it's used on are like average. So it'd be nice for them to have a hop-up, but Disruptor rounds are just way too broken, so nah, I don't think they should be added back. Especially not as a default thing that would be broken, even if it was just like another firing mode or something. As for Anvil Receiver, I just don't think it's needed, plus it's disliked by many people, so it just isn't good. Yeah. Turbocharger, on the other hand, I did consider thinking like that it should be built in, but I think the issue is like the Havoc's, even without the Turbocharger hop-up, the Havoc is already like a busted weapon, and even after multiple nerfs, including the removal of Turbocharger, it's still a broken weapon, so yeah. And then there's no other weapon that uses it right now, because the Devotion is literally a supply drop weapon right now, so yeah. When it comes to ammo, I would simply make a default ammo type that works with every gun. And I would also make it so that snipers get their magazine size multiplied by 3, and each shot the sniper takes is equivalent to 3 shots of the ammo. But yeah, my justification for that is that the whole point of sniper ammo is to punish people for just spamming sniper shots with like, let's say whatever, like heavy ammo, light ammo, whatever ammo like snipers, the sniper used to take. And I think by adding this change, it still keeps that punishment, but also allows like a universal ammo type to exist. So in conclusion, those were my ideas for a rework of Apex Legends overall. And my goal with these ideas for this rework was to make the game as action-packed, fast-paced, and overall just fun as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and in the comment section, leave your ideas for how you would want to see Apex Legends changed. Also, remember to leave me feedback in the comment section on how I could have improved this video and how I can improve future videos. Anyways, that's all guys. Thank you all for watching. Remember to leave a dislike if you liked the video, and a dislike if you disliked the video. And I'm out.